What is popping, y'all? We are back again. Welcome back to the live stream. It's been a minute since I've been able to get on. Look, y'all, I'm trying my best. It's just life just keeps getting in the way. Things have been good, but things have been busy. A lot of traveling. Baseball All Star since I last seen y'all. I had to go back to Kansas City for an event. And what else did we have? We had something else. But it's been busy, y'all. But welcome back to the DeAndre Way. If this is your first time, welcome. If you ain't been here before, welcome again. I think just said the same thing as late. But today we are doing the Chicago Bears deep dive. The Chicago Bears are a very legendary, historic franchise. They've been around the block for a very long time. They only have one Super Bowl under their belt. So it's going to be interesting to see all the details that go behind this franchise. I feel like I know a lot already being from the Midwest, but you can always learn some more. What I think I'm going to do, though, before I get started is I'm going to add maybe some little music. Hold on. Is it going to let me? Oh, yeah, it's there. It's late. It just won't come through on these headphones for some reason. But y'all can hear it. All right, we good. But anyways, y'all, it's time to dive into the Chicago Bears deep dive. I'm excited. Let's get into it and quit wasting time. As our trusted handy dandy source, Wikipedia is always there to help us out. Wikipedia. Let me turn that off. But yes, Wikipedia, where you at? So yes, the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears are a professional American football team based in Chicago. The Bears compete in the National Football League, NFC North Division. They are one of two remaining franchises from the NFL founding in 1920. Wow, almost 100 years old, about 105 years old. The Bears, man, your great-great-parents was fans. Along with the Arizona Cardinals, which also began in Chicago. Interesting. I don't think I knew that. The Bears played home games at Wrigley Field on Chicago's north side through this 1970 season. They have played then at Soldier Field near the south side adjacent to Lake Michigan. So Wrigley Field is the Cubs baseball stadium, if you did not know. The franchise was founded in Decatur, Illinois on September 20th, 1919, and became professional on September 17th, 1920. And moved to Chicago in 1921. The Bears have won 9 NFL championships. Wow, that's a lot. I mean, all of that's in the Stone Age, and we wasn't around for most of those things. So we'll cut those count, I guess. But some people count the AFL NFL merger. I do not technically count it because that's just what I go by. But maybe I should start counting these AFL championships. So, but then again, the comp was weak, and we had certain laws that prevented certain players from playing back in the day. So maybe we shouldn't count those. But yes, the Bears have won 9, 8 prior to the AFL NFL merger, and 1 Super Bowl, as I stated earlier. They hold NFL records for the most enshrinees in the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the most retired jersey numbers. The Bears' NFL championships and overall victories are second behind the Green Bay Packers, another very, very, very old franchise, with whom they have a long-standing rivalry. The Bears reached their greatest modern period of success in the 1980s under coach Mike Ditka, the defensive mastermind, the defensive coordinator turned coach, turned savant, turned ESPN commentator, turned fired because they couldn't stand him no more. The Bears appeared in their second Super Bowl in the 2006 season, which they lost to the Indianapolis Colts. Since 2006, the Bears have struggled to find regular success, winning their last playoff game in 2011 and last division title in 2018. Whew. The Bears, they look. If you don't know about the Bears, they're the bottom of the barrel. They've been the laughing stock in the NFL for many years now. They always have that kind of respect, but the respect is more so on the history side and what the Bears mantra is, what the Bears essence is. It's kind of like the Pittsburgh Steelers. You hear their name and you just think to respect it rather than the current modern day team actually being a threat. But who knows? They got a new franchise quarterback, and they could be down to make a big change. 1919 through 1939, the early history. In March of 19, well, they have a whole main article. This article's kind of long, but we'll just get the condensed version. In March 1920, a man telephoned me, George Chamberlain. He was the general superintendent of the A.E. Staley Company. In 1919, the company's fellowship club had formed a football team. It had done well against other local teams, but Mr. Staley wanted to build it into a team that could compete successfully with the best semi-professional and industrial teams in the country. Mr. Chamberlain asked if I would like to come to Decatur and work for the Staley Company. George Halas in his Halas book, originally named the Decatur Staleys. I didn't know that. The Decatur Staleys. Who knew that the Chicago Bears was named the Decatur Staleys? Because I sure did. I sure did not. And real quick, y'all, I'm going to just post on my TikTok that I'm live on here real quick. So bear with me 1 second. I just got to let the people know live on YouTube now. And we'll send some of the TikTok people up here. But yes, where was I? This Decatur, Illinois, is a company team. This is a typical start for several early professional football franchises. The team played, and I'm also doing this because I need to be reading more. And this is a good way to read entertaining things as well as practice. And so y'all can just sit back, kick your feet up, and listen to the history of the Chicago Bears. We already did the Bills. If you want to check the Bills one out, it's on my live stream page on my YouTube. Anyways, the team played independently in 1919, winning the Central Illinois Championship. The company hired George Halas, legends, and Edward Dutch Sterneman in 1920 to run the team. In 1920, Decatur Staley's season, there was their inaugural regular season completed in the newly formed American Professional Football Association. That's a word. That's a mouthful. Later renamed the National Football League in 1922. Full control of the team was turned over to Halas and Sterneman in 1921. Official team and league records cite Halas as the founder as he took over the team in 1920 when it became a charter member of the NFL. Halas said, "This is my ship and I'm driving it." The team moved to Chicago in 1921 where the club was renamed the Chicago Staleys. Under an agreement reached by Halas and Sterneman with Staley, they received $5,000 USD to keep the name the Staleys for the 1921 season. What is a Chicago Staley? What is a Staley? Established by A.E. Staley Food Starch Company. That's right, I missed that. My Reddit even paying attention. A.E. Staley. What is A.E. Staley? Primarily products immigrants. Also known as Tate, American company that produces a range of starch products for the food, paper, and other industries, and from high fructose corn syrup, crystalline fructose. Interesting. A starch company. That's okay. Interesting. They just named it anything back in the day. In 1922, $5,000. Wow, that's a deal right there. I could do that. In 1922, Halas changed the team name from the Staleys to the Bears. The team moved into Wrigley Field, home of the Chicago Cubs baseball franchise, as well as with several early NFL franchises. The Bears derived their nickname from the city's baseball team. The Bears young are called the Cubs. I didn't know that, y'all. I did not know. I did not know that was the reason why the Bears was named the Bears. Because Bears, Cubs, what's the other Chicago team? Well, Blackhawks, but that's Indian tribe. And then Bulls. I don't know. That's interesting. Very, very interesting. I did not know that. A lot of new learning things here. Halas linked the bright orange and blue colors of his alma mater, the University of Illinois, and the Bears adopted those colors as their own. Interesting. The Bears got their colors from the University of Illinois, the Fighting Illini, which is in Champaign, Illinois, way south of Chicago. That's like 3-4 hours south of Chicago. Hallis linked, and the Bears adopted the colors of their own, albeit in a darker shade of each. The blue is Pantone 5395 navy blue, and the orange is Pantone 1665, similar to burnt orange. The Staley/Bears dominated the league in its early years. Their rivalry with the Chicago Cardinals, the oldest in the NFL and a crosstown rival from 1920 to 1959, was a key in 4 out of the first 6 league titles. During the league's first 6 years, the Bears lost twice to the Canton Bulldogs, who took 2 league titles of that span and split with their crosstown rival Cardinals, going 4-4-2 against each other over that span. But no other team in the league defeated the Bears more than that single time. Wow. During that span, the Bears posted 34 shutouts. It's that defense. The Bears' rivalry with the Green Bay Packers is one of the oldest, dauntiest, trendiest rivalries in the game. But yes, the Bears and the Packers are very deep dive. Welcome if y'all just joining us as well. Where was I at? Yes, is one of the oldest and most storied in American professional sports, dating back to 1921. The Green Bay Packers were an independent team until they joined the NFL in 1921. In one infamous incident that year, Hallis got the Packers expelled from the league in order to prevent their signing of a particular player, and then graciously got them readmitted after the Bears had closed the deal with that player. Oh, tampering goes way back in the day with the Bears. Wow. I guess all the bad news they're getting now is karma from back in the day when they were tampering and doing Bush League tactics. The franchise was an early success under Hallis, capturing the NFL championship in 1921 and remaining competitive throughout the decade in 1924. The Bears, they were playing before World War II. God, geez. The Bears claimed the championship after defeating the Cleveland Bulldogs in December 7th and putting title of the world's champions on their 1924 team photo, but the NFL had ruled that games after November 30th did not count towards league standings. Weird. And the Bears had to settle for second place behind Cleveland. Their only losing season came in 1929. Well, that karma has begun. During the 1920s, the club was responsible for triggering the NFL's long-standing rule that a player could not be signed until his college's senior class had graduated. The NFL took that action as a consequence of the Bears' aggressive signing of famous University of Illinois player Red Grange within a day of his final game as a collegiate. Interesting. Now, since they have changed that rule, you can go pro as a junior now, but it's interesting. Despite much of the on-field success, the Bears were a team in trouble. They faced the problem of increased operating costs and flatlined in attendance. The Bears would only draw, this a little bit. The Bears would only draw roughly 5,000 to 6,000 fans a game, while the University of Chicago game would draw 40,000 to 50,000 fans a game. Chicago had a football team. By adding the top college football draw, Red Grange, to the roster, the Bears knew they found something to draw more fans into the games. CC Pyle was able to secure a $2,000 per game contract for Grange. Wow. $2,000 a game. That's crazy. In 1922, you're basically a millionaire. Somebody translate how much $2,000 was in 1922 to today's currency, please. That's crazy. And in one of the first games, the Bears defeated the Green Bay Packers 21-0. However, Grange remained on the sidelines while learning that the team's place in the Bears quarterback Joey Sternaman. Later in 1925, the Bears would go on a barnstorming tour showing off the best football player of the day. 75,000 people paid to see Grange lead the Bears to a 17-7 victory over the Los Angeles Tigers, who were a quickly put together team of the West Coast College All-Stars. Wow, well, they beat a bunch of college players, so that really don't mean nothing. After a loss to San Francisco, the Bears cruised to a 60-3 win over semi-pro. See, this is why we can't count these things back in the day, because look, they're preventing teams from signing players. They're playing teams that just comprised of people that just graduated from college. I don't count these championships, coach. I don't. In any hopes that Grange would lead the Bears to glory in 1926 were quickly dashed. A failed contract talk led Grange to bolt into the AFL's New York Yankees, owned by Pyle. The Bears also lost star quarterback Jerry Sternaman, who joined the Chicago Bulls. What? Chicago Bulls? What is this? Chicago Bulls had an AFL team. Interesting. So that's how the Bulls got their name. Interesting. Chicago Bulls was a football team. Interesting. Very interesting. The Bears replaced Grange with Patty Driscoll, a star football player in his own right. The Bears used the money made from the Grange barnstorming tour to sign the man that replaced him. Grange split his time between making movies and playing football. However, the time was not right to have two competing pro football leagues, and the AFL folded after one season. Grange would return to the Bears. Damn. After financial losses of the 1932 championship team, Halas partner Dutch Sterneman left the organization. Halas maintained full control of the Bears until his death in 1983. He coached the team on and off for all 40 seasons. Wow. That's a long time, Coach. In the 1932 unofficial NFL championship, the Bears defeated the Portsmouth Spartans. Where the heck is Portsmouth? Portsmouth, Ohio. Interesting. Due to blizzard concerns in Chicago, the game was played at Chicago Stadium, making it the first indoor American football game. More facts. The success of the playoff game led to the NFL institute a championship game. In the NFL championship, the Bears played against the New York Giants, defeating them 23-21. The teams met again in the 1934 championship, where the Giants, wearing sneakers, defeated the Bears. They was out there and they hooped. They Jays, man. They're whatchamacallit? What are those white shoes called that everyone like? They're Converse. It was playing in Converse. Defeated the Bears in 1330 on an icy cold day in the Polo Grounds. What's the Polo Grounds? Polo Grounds is in New York City. It's a baseball stadium. Didn't know that. So that's where the Yankees used to play? No, that was the Giants used to play. Interesting. And that's in Washington Heights, too. I used to live there. The 1940s, Monsters of the Midway. From 1940 to 1947, quarterback Sid Luckman led the Bears to victories in 4 out of the 5 NFL championship games, which they appeared. The team acquired the University of Chicago's discarded nickname Monsters of the Midway and their famous Wishbone Seat, as well as newly penned theme song that declared them the pride and joy of Illinois. That's a nice little saying to it. The pride and joy of Illinois. 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 Pride and joy of Illinois. Anywho, one famous victory during that, and y'all, we gonna go TikTok real quick live too. We gonna go TikTok live real quick. We gonna go there. We gonna go TikTok live real quick. So if you on TikTok, then we gonna get in here. But how do I do one camera? Can't do it. You can't do it, can you? Hold on. Bear with me, y'all. No pun intended. Bear with. Bear with me. We go on TikTok live. So if you're joining me on YouTube, we're about to go TikTok live in 2 seconds. 1, 2. As soon as I figure out how to get this board thing off, I don't want to use it anymore though. Why is this not working, y'all? Hold on, y'all. I'm sorry, YouTube. I am distracted right now. Look, if I can't get this working in like 10 seconds, I'm about to just say forget TikTok live because this isn't working how I want it to work. It's not working how I want it to work. It's not working how I want it to work. All right. Anyways, forget it. We just gonna stay on here. Anywho, one famous victory during that period was their 73-0 victory over the favored Washington Redskins at the Griffith Stadium in the 1940 NFL Championship game. The score is still an NFL record for lopsided result, 73-0. Good Lord. The secret behind the one-sided outcome was the introduction of new offensive formation by Halas, the T formation. If you don't know what the T formation is, It's basically what Army and Navy kind of use, and it's kind of a cheat code to get the running game offset. Okay, I figured it out, y'all. We're going live on TikTok too. I wasn't gonna do it, but we doing it. If I can set it up correctly. I need to set this up correctly. I'm just trying to, y'all. Today has just been a day. I'm not gonna lie to you. Today has been a day. There. All right, we're gonna go live on TikTok, and we're good to go. I'll just add a live goal real quick. I need 1,000. I need 1,000. I need hand to heart. We're gonna do hand to hearts. We'll do 1,000 hand to hearts. All right, cool. Anyways, as we continue with the Chicago Bears deep dive, so the T formation, as Halas named it, involved two running backs instead of the traditional one in the backfield. Luckman established himself as one of the franchise's most elite quarterbacks between 1939 and 1950. If y'all just joining me, we're doing a Bears deep dive. We in the 1940s, monsters the midway, so put some ketchup on your fries and sit back, relax, and enjoy the Bear ride. Between 1939 and 1950, Luckman set the Bears passing records for the most career touchdowns, completions, and yards. Many of Luckman's records stood for decades before they were eclipsed by Jay Cutler. Jay Cutler, a real one, y'all. Jay Cutler is a real one. In 2014, Cutler then went on to break Luckman's franchise record for the most career passing touchdowns a year later in 2015. Shout out Jay Cutler, man. Jay Cutler, that's my dog, man. If you ain't seen his reality show, go check it out. In 1950s through 1968, the late Halas era. After declining throughout the 1950s, the team rebounded in 1963 to capture its 8th NFL championship. See these NFL championships, I don't count them because they came too early, man. If they came before modern day NFL rules, I'd say. I mean, even like nowadays, it's a new era. So when are we gonna keep counting the championships from the 60s and 70s? The rules are way different. Anywho, declining through the 1950s, the team rebounded to catch its championship in the late 60s and early 70s, produced by notable players such as Dick Butkus, Gale Sayers, and Brian Piccolo, who died of embryonal carcinoma. Embryonal carcinoma. What is that? It's a relatively uncommon type of non-seminomatous germ cell tumor that occurs in the ovaries and testes. Interesting. That's crazy, yo. That's crazy. F cancer, man. F cancer. The American television network ABC aired a movie about Piccolo in 1971, No Dragon Ball Z, entitled Brian's Song, starring James Caan and Billy D. Williams in the role of Piccolo and Sayers, respectively. Jack Warden had won an Emmy Award for his performance as Halas. I need to check that movie out. Brian's Song. I'm gonna write that down real quick. Brian's Song. I'm gonna check out that movie, y'all. If y'all ain't seen the movie Brian's Song, check it out, man. I heard it's a classic, especially if you're a Bears fan. The movie was later released for theater screenings after the first being shown on television. Despite Hall of Fame careers, Butkus and Sayers would also have their careers cut short due to injuries, hamstring of the Bears this era. It's because they're getting back at the Bears for doing that tampering they was doing early on. I don't believe that was right of them to do that tampering, and it looks like they've been paying the price, and paying the piper ever since. Halas retired as a coach in 1967 and spent the rest of his days in the front office and became the only person to be involved within the NFL for the first 60 years of its existence. He was also a member of the Pro Football Hall of Fame's first induction in 1963. As the only living founder of the NFL at the February 1970 merger between the NFL and the AFL, the owners honored Halas by electing him the first president of the National Football League, a position he held until his death. Wow, this man worked until he died. This man worked until the day he died. Whew. That man loved his job. Shout out Halas, man. In honor, the NFL named the NFC Championship Trophy as the George Halas Memorial Trophy. 1969 through 1982 struggles. After the merger, the Bears finished the 1970 season last place in their division, repeat of their placing in the 1960s. Put your hand on the camera for Lamar Jackson, edit. Boom. 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 You got to have one of them. Where was we at? The 1970 season, last place. In 1975, the Bears drafted the legend, the GOAT, Walter Payton. If y'all don't know who Walter Payton is, you need to get off this live stream right now and go watch some YouTube videos. You gotta go watch some YouTube videos on Walter Payton. He's one of the GOATs, man. Just saying. Payton would go on to eclipse Jim Brown's NFL career rushing record in 1984 before retiring in 87 and would hold the mark until 2002 when Emmitt Smith of the Cowboys surpassed it. Payton's career and personality would capture the heart of Bears fans who called him Sweetness. Sweetness. He died from a rare liver cancer in 1999. Man, answer the comment. Who? Oh, this 3 viewers. Oh, you count my you know, you got to get on YouTube. We got like 20, we got about 50 viewers on YouTube, man. That's where it's at. You know, I'm just saying. You know, I'm just saying. On November 8th, 1983, the day after death of George Halas, his oldest daughter, Virginia McCaskey, took over as the majority owner of the team. Her husband, Ed McCaskey, succeeded her father as the chairman of the board. Then son Michael became the 3rd president. See, man, you just giving these kids whatever they want, man. That's basically, we basically living in the king's time, you know, giving the kids the king's ransom and them just running with it and then not doing nothing with the franchise. Since Virginia holds the title of honorary secretary, board of directors, but have been called the glue that holds the franchise together. I want to know why. And yeah, George Halas, the parent franchise. So yeah, basically nothing happened from 1969 through 1982 for the Bears. So then we get into 83. We in modern times now, y'all. We in the modern day. Make sure you do what you want, man. What's up, y'all, my TikTok people? Almost done. Hold still. Hold still. Hold still. Anyways, Mike Ditka, a tight end for the Bears from 61 to 66, was hired to coach the team by George Halas in 82. His gritty personality earning the nickname Iron Mike. Shout out Mike Ditka, man. He's the coach. We the coach. We boys, Travis. Yeah, of course we are, Travis. You my dog. Salute. If we boys, you make sure you subscribe, though, you know, or follow. The team reached the NFC Championship game, losing to the 49ers 23-0 in 84 and 85. The fire in the Bears-Packers rivalry was relit when Ditka used 315-pound tackle refrigerator Perry as a running back in a touchdown play at Lambeau against the Packers. The Bears won the 9th NFL championship, technically first championship. We not counting those old ones. And since the AFL-NFL merger, the Super Bowl 20, after the 85 season, which they dominated the NFL with their then revolutionary 46 defense and a cast of characters that recorded a novelty rap song, the Super Bowl Shuffle. If you ain't heard that song, you need to YouTube it, man. The season was notable that the Bears only had one loss, the unlucky 13th game of the season, a Monday night affair in which they were defeated by the Dolphins at the time, which was made of the fact that the 72 Dolphins are the only franchise in history to have an undefeated season and postseason, and the Dolphins came close to setting up a rematch in the Super Bowl, but lost to the New England Patriots in the AFC title game. The Super Bowl Shuffle was videotaped the day after the Monday night loss in Miami. Now we gonna move up to the modern era. 86 through 2003. Oh yeah, and y'all, sneak peek. We got some cool live features coming up soon, man. We gonna be live streaming and on location. I don't know if it's gonna be on TikTok, but make sure you check out the YouTube. It's gonna be on there. We almost done. Wow, that was quick. We're almost done. Not much history to talk about with this franchise. After the 85 championship season, the Bears remained competitive in the 80s, but failed to return the Super Bowl under Ditka. Throughout the remainder of his tenure, Ditka led the Bears to 5 more postseason berths, getting as far as the NFC Championship in the 1988 season. Between the firing of Ditka and the hiring of Lovie Smith, The Bears had two head coaches, Dave Wanstedt and Dick. What's up with all? They got all these Dick head coaches. That's a popular name back in the day, man. Richard. They said forget Richard, man. While both head coaches led the team to the playoffs, Wanstedt in 1994 and Jaron in 2001, neither was able to accumulate a winning record and bring the Bears back to Super Bowl. Therefore, the 1990s was largely considered to be a disappointment. Yes, the Bears was irrelevant in the 90s. I appreciate you, Arose Rice, you my dog. Before the Bears hired Jaron in January 1999, Dave McGinnis backed out of taking the head coach position. The Bears scheduled a press conference to announce the hiring before McGinnis agreed to contract terms. Soon after Jaron's hiring, McCaskey fired her son as the president. Did I hear that right? She fired her son as the president. Wow. She said business before family. Thank you, Vin, for the rose. I love you. Wow, that's crazy. She's like, look, son, you ain't getting the job done, so you got to get the hell up out of here. I'll see you at home for dinner. That's tough. That's tough. That's real tough. My mom fired me. I mean, look, my mom's fired me from a job before. So it happens. You know, I would fire my kids from a job if they wasn't getting the job done. You know, that's part of the game, man. You can't be out here losing money just because we family. Phillips became the first man outside the Halas-McCaskey family to run the team from 97 to 2000. The Bears suffered 4 consecutive last-place finishes in the division. In the 2001 season, Jim Miller took over as the primary starting quarterback. Jim Miller, never heard of him. Helped the Bears to a 13-3 record in division title. The 2001 team did not see any postseason success as they fell to 33-19 to the Donovan McNabb-led Philadelphia Eagles in the divisional round. The 2002 season saw a setback as the team went 4-12. The team improved to 7-9. 2003, but still missed the postseason. Jerome was fired following the post-13 season. Yes, we talking about the Bears, AFG. We talking about the Bears. You're going through the history right now. You catching up. We just about to get into the 2004 to 2012 Lovie Smith era. That was one of the golden years. I don't know if they Super Bowl bound this year, but I do have Caleb Williams on my fantasy team. You know, hopefully he does well. I'm rooting for that brother this year. Lovie Smith, hired on January 15th, 2004, is the third post-Ditka head coach. Lovie Smith, man, he's a real one. He's a real one. They got a brother head coach in the building now. Jesus died and rose against the faith that you can have eternal life. That's right, Timmy T. Joining the Bears as a rookie head coach, Smith brought the highly successful Tampa 2 defensive scheme into Chicago. Before his second season with the Bears, the team retired their former offensive coordinator and then Illinois head coach Ron Turner. So if you just joining me, the Bears got their colors from the University of Illinois. I didn't know that. They called them the Bears. They were used to call the Staleys, but they moved the name to the Bears, and they called them the Bears because of the Chicago Cubs, because the Cub is the Bears' kin. I didn't know that. And they started out in Decatur, Illinois. Now, I've been to Decatur. And the football stadium in Decatur sounds crazy, especially a national one. A lot of craziness. The Bears improved along their success from the 2005 season. They won the division, reached the playoff for the first time in 4 years, and their previous berth was earned by winning the Central in 2001. They clinched their second consecutive NFC North title during Week 13 of the 2006 season, winning their first playoff game since 1995, and earned a trip to Super Bowl XLI, which is number, I don't know. I'm not good with Roman numerals. But yes, they fell short of the championship, losing 29-17 against the Colts. They should have won. Devin Hester, I remember that Super Bowl, man. It was great memories. One of the earliest Super Bowls I remember watching. I didn't start watching the Super Bowls till the Patriots and the Eagles Super Bowl. That was the first one I vividly remember watching. And so, you know, they lost. But no, I don't think they should have won at AFG. They had Rex Grossman as their quarterback. You know, I mean, they'd be lucky to get to the Super Bowl with him at their quarterback. That's all I'm going to say. You know, that's all I'm going to say. If you want to join, maybe. Moved from Indy to Chicago in 2006. Oh, see, that's tough, man. You got both your teams in the Super Bowl. That'd be a tough one. But at least, you know, your old team won. But where was we at? Yes, they lost. Following the 2006 season, the club decided to give Lovie Smith a contract extension through 2011, a $5 million per year came the season after being the lowest paid head coach in the league. Give that brother his change. Shout out Lovie Smith. Club played in over 1,000 games since becoming a charter member of the NFL in 1920. Throughout the 2010 season, they led the NFL overall franchise wins with 704, partly because they've been around for so long. Yeah, they shouldn't let him go. I agree with you there. I agree with you there. Get that man a change and keep me alive. Maybe you won't be on here talking craziness. You gotta send some roses first and send some likes. Get the likes. If you get the likes to 10K, then I'll let you join. How about that? That's my stipulation. Actually 5K. If you get it to 5K, then I'll let you join. Thank you, AG. You are a real one. We here with the stash and the cowboy hat. Yes, the Bears made one of the biggest trades. The Bears made one of the biggest trades in franchise history, acquiring Pro Bowl quarterback Jay Cutler from the Broncos in exchange for Kyle Orton and draft picks. Shout out Jay Cutler, man. Jay Cutler, he's one of my favorite quarterbacks just because I like his demeanor. I like his attitude. I didn't like how he played sometimes, but I definitely I liked his show, the reality show he was on. I can't remember who was his girlfriend that was on the reality show because he just was a fool on the show. But Jay Cutler, man, he's one of the funniest quarterbacks. If you don't know, you got to look him up. After a disappointing 2009 campaign with the team, going 7-9, Mike Martz was hired as the team offensive coordinator on February 1st, 2010. The Bears soon signed defensive end Julius Peppers, one of my favorite players, running back Chester Taylor, and tight end Brandon Manula. I can't say his name right. Spending over $100 million in the first day. We just talking McCaskey. Michael McCaskey was replaced by his brother George McCaskey as the chairman of the Bears. 38-34 win against the Jets. The Bears clinched the 2 seed with a first-round bye in the 2010-11 playoffs. In their first playoff game to Super Bowl XLI, the Bears defeated the 4-seed Seahawks 35-24 in the divisional round. The Bears reached the NFC Championship game where they played the Packers at Soldier Field. Only the second playoff meeting between the two storied rivals. Their only other game played in 1941. That's crazy. The Bears sadly lost the game 21-14. Jay Cutler, you're right. He was supposed to take down the promised land. I forget they was in the NFC Championship game. They should have won that game, but they just didn't have. They had Musa Muhammad, I remember. They had, of course, Devin Hester still, and they had Chester Taylor. And they had still Brian Urlacher. They still had a squad in 2010. They should have beat the Packers, man. I would have much rather seen the Bears in the Super Bowl with Jay Cutler rather than, Rex Grossman. The team started the 2011 season with a strong 7-3 record. Running back Matt Forte led the NFL in total yards of scrimmage. Eventually, quarterback Jay Cutler fractured his thumb. That was all she wrote. And Forte was also lost to the season against the Chiefs after spraining his MCL. And the Bears with Caleb Haney. I remember that dude. Caleb Haney lost 5 straight before winning against the Vikings with Josh McCown. Starting over Haney at the season's end. Manager Jerry Angelo was fired. Former Chiefs director of scouting and former Bears scout Bill Emery was brought in. Offensive coordinator Mike Martz resigned and eventually retired. Was replaced. They had a lot of changes. Replaced by offensive coach Mike Tice. I remember him. The Bears made another notable trade by trading Miami Dolphins, trading for the receiver Brandon Marshall. The Bears became the first team in NFL history to turn 6 interceptions for touchdowns in their first 7 games of the season, with another pick 6 by Brian Urlacher in Week 9, bringing Chicago 2 behind the record from the 1961 San Diego Chargers. However, the Bears missed the playoffs with a record of 10-6 after starting 7-1. Man, that was a disappointing season. You started 9-7-3 and then ended 10-6. Man. And then they fired the Lovie Smith. That's where it all went downhill. 2013 to 2014, the Mark Trestman years. Mark Trestman soon succeeded Smith. They're really much in on here, y'all. The Bears ended the season 8-8, barely missed the playoffs, and they had the second-ranked offense that set a lot of records, but that's when the defense started getting old, y'all. It was a disaster. The offensive finished outside the top 20 in scoring. And the Bears soon finished the next year 5-11, last place. Trestman and Emery were fired. 2015 through 2017, John Fox years. Shout out the Fox man. Bears hired New Orleans Saints GM Ryan Pace to be the new GM. They saw improvements in 2014. But, during the 2016 season, they went 3-13. It's a mess. Jay Cutler only played 5 games. He had a lot of injuries, and they started Brian Hoyer. Then he started Matt Barkley. And it was just a train wreck, Coach. It was just a train wreck. The Bears ended 5-11. Their favorite, the Bears are always 5-11, I feel like. And Fox was fired with a 14-34 record. We move on to 2018 through 2021, Matt Nagy years. Bears hired Matt Nagy from the Chiefs to be their head coach. Shout out the Chiefs. That's when the Chiefs started dominating once Matt Nagy left. That's when we really started turning it on. Nagy's Bears clinched the NFC North for the first time since 2010 with a 24-17 win over the Packers. They finished 12-4 that year, but they lost to the defending Super Bowl champions Philadelphia Eagles in the wild card round of the playoffs after Cody Parkey's game-winning field goal attempt was partially tipped and hit the uprights in the final seconds of the game. Thank you for the gift, Max. You're a real one. Thank you, Max. I love it. Despite the first-round exit, Nagy was Coach of the Year. In 2019, they had an 8-8 record. That's regress. And then the Bears opened 2020 season with a 5-1 record. They lost their next 6 games. Man, they're just the kings of blowing leads. I think it's all dates back to the fact when they was finessing people. You halfway there, Logan. Keep going. You got to keep going. They finished 8-8, so they're losing a lot of leads. The Saints defeated the Bears in the opening round of the playoffs 20-9. The team did not re-sign Trubisky after the 2020 season and instead allowed him to become a free agent. Yeah, they skipped over this part. They drafted Trubisky. We missed that part. They didn't even – they did put that. I missed that. In the 2017 draft, the team selected Mitchell Trubisky with the 2nd overall pick. They should have picked Mahomes if they wanted a chance, but they picked Trubisky out of North Carolina. Look, nobody was a fan of the pick. I don't know who was, but I definitely wasn't. If you like Trubisky, I don't know what to tell you, but you was horribly wrong. And Trubisky was very pitiful, to put it kindly. And then let him go. Prior to this 21 season, Bears traded up to select quarterback Justin Fields. Now with the Jets, I'm gonna be seeing him Friday. I'm going to try and go live to see him Friday, but, that's a little risky with the practice. But the team also signed Andy Dalton in free agency. I forgot he was with the Bears. Dalton was initially declared the Bears starting quarterback, but Fields won the position after Dalton was injured. The Bears finished the season with a 6-11 record. Nagy, the GM, was fired after the season. Nagy was a 34-33 over 4 seasons. They gave what's his face, John Fox, a lot more time than Nagy. I wonder why. 22 through 24, Matt Eberflus years. The Bears hired Ryan Poles as their GM. They hired Matt Eberflus as their 17th head coach. They struggled through the season, went 3-14, terrible. But then they made the trade of all trades. They traded the 1st overall pick to the Carolina Panthers in exchange for wide receiver DJ Moore and multiple draft picks. A fleece. They fleeced the Panthers. They fleeced them so bad. USMC, I just got the colors on, Coach, I just got the colors on, but shout out, man. Salute. But yeah, they fleeced the Panthers, man. They fleeced them real bad. It was terrible. But yeah, the team, they started off 0-4, but then they finished with a 7-10 record, nothing special. But then they picked USC quarterback Caleb Williams as the number 1 overall pick. And we'll see how that gets. Shout out Caleb Williams this year. He's on my fantasy squad. Caleb, I'm going to need you, Coach. I'm going to need you, Caleb Williams, to come dominate this fantasy football season. I'm going to need you bad. Real bad. Because my team had to do a whole 180. Oh, well, thank you, Chris. Thank you, Christina. It's Mr. Shit. You already know. It's almost, we still got a couple months till the Knicks come back, but Hopefully, they should make the finals this year, Coach. You already know what time it is. We're gonna be back outside. You already know, but we're gonna be outside for the Jets and the Giants. So I hope to see you there, Coach. The Bears fired Eberflus, who posted a 14-32. They're all getting fired up in here. In the present, we at the present time now, 2025, y'all. Ben Johnson, they hired Ben Johnson. This is gonna be his first season as coach, and he's with the Lions, and now it's time to see if we can bring him back to the promised land. They drafted Luther Burden, Mizzou guy. Mizzou made in the building. And yeah, Luther Burden is from Chicago. No, he's from St. Louis. But yeah, y'all, that's pretty much what it does with the Bears, man. We got through everything. And they got sponsorship deals with Snapple, Miller Bruin, PNC, Financial Services, United, Verizon, Xfinity, the whole 9, 10, 11, 12. Are you there for the Jets, Giants? I'll be there too, Coach. I'm going to be there too. We're going to be there. Yeah, they've had 4 logos. They've all kind of looked the same. The Bears, they have a mascots, Rocky and Bearman. Okay. Fireman Ed. Staley the Bear. Interesting. Okay, I'm not really into the mascots. They got the rivals with the Packers, the Lions, the Vikings, the Cardinals, the Giants, the 49ers, the Buccaneers, the Commanders, the St. Louis/Cleveland/Los Angeles Rams, the Dolphins, the Rock Island Independence. I've been to Rock Island. I didn't know Rock Island had a football team, a national football team. That was way back in the day. Rock Island, Illinois, there ain't nothing there. You ain't missing much. But it's a cool city. I lived in Rock Island for a couple months. And the Canton/Cleveland Bulldogs, they playing in Soldier Field right now, but they're building, it's, you can see it from the lakeshore, but they are building and they used to play in the Cubs Stadium, and they're building a new stadium that they're still seeking approval still. So they need financial support from the city. If you live in Chicago, I don't blame you if you don't want to accept that. I don't blame you. In the training camp locations, they started playing at Decatur, then Cubs Park, and then they started practicing at St. John's at Northwestern Military Academy. Then they moved to Rensselaer, Indiana for 30 years. Then they moved to Lake Forest College. And then they moved to University of Wisconsin-Platteville. And then they moved to Olivet Nazarene University in Bourbonnais. And then they still practice there, I guess, for the camps. Chicago, yeah, Chicago's cool, man. Chicago's cool. I think that's about it. Yeah, so basically that's Chicago's, man. Chicago Bears. There's not a ton to write home about with this franchise, man. They struggle. They've been struggle bus. They won a championship, but it was in '85, and since then they've only been to 1 Super Bowl, and their team have been basically pretty terrible for the majority of their existence. I mean, not the majority, but modern day. Like, not before we had color TV. As we had color TV, the Bears really ain't been doing too much. But they have a lot of iconic people, and they live off the past. But yeah, Jay Cutler's their passing leader. Walter Payton's their rushing leader. Johnny Morris is their receiving leader. Robbie Gould, kicker, is their points leader. And George Halas, legendary coach, is their wins leader. Let's see who's on their roster, their current roster, that I might care about. Tyler Baker, Case Keenum, Austin Reed, Caleb Williams. Running backs, DeAndre Swift, Kyle Magani, Roshan Johnson, and Travis Homer. Deion Hankins. Wide receivers, Maurice Alexander, Miles Boykin, Luther Burden III, Devin Duvernay, John Jackson, DJ Moore, Rome Madunes, Tyler Scott, Samori Toure, Amala D.A. Zacchaeus. Interesting. Okay, they got some people on the squad. Chicago got a lot of numbers retired. I mean, you can't wear half the numbers in the thing. Dang. You can't wear 12 numbers. 14 numbers are retired. 14 numbers. That's crazy. Yeah, and they got the most people in the Hall of Fame, as we mentioned earlier. And yeah, that's pretty much the Bears, y'all. That's the Bears, man. The Bears, from my conclusion, they've been a struggling franchise. This is the year they should at least win 8 games. If they can win 8 games this year, then I think that's a success for the Bears this year. I think if they don't win that, then, I mean, even if they're division, they should be better than the Vikings this year. I'm going to be honest. I think Caleb Williams is better than J.J. McCarthy. I think he can make a Jordan Love step up. Thank you for the TJ, my dog, man, my home skillet biscuit, man, my dog. You know, I had to, email the Studio Lambert people for season 3 now. Just, I had to get in there. But yeah, that's the Bears, y'all. I think they could win 9 games, maybe sneak into a wild card spot. But with the Lions, they're not. The Lions are gonna win the division again. I actually think the whole division is gonna take a step down because the Lions gonna be nice again. The Bears gonna be a little better. The Packers, I think they might stay around where they at. And the Vikings, I think the Vikings about to be like this. I just don't see it. I don't see it. JJ McCarthy wants to prove me wrong. I'm his biggest doubter right now. I like him as a person, but I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Oh, he made it to 5,000. You can finally join the live. Miss Man did it. We're gonna get my mans in here real quick. All right. We're gonna get my mans in here real quick. YouTube, I'm gonna log off YouTube real quick, y'all. I appreciate y'all for joining me on YouTube real quick. Oh, he made it. He made it. He made it.
I made it. 5.1K.
Oh, he made it.
I did do it. No, don't worry.
Oh, you okay, that's fine. That's fine. He made it, y'all. Hold on.
Yeah, I made it.
What is going on with my camera? There we go.
Yeah, what is going on with your camera?
Look, he made it. My guy is in the building. He did what he had to do.
That whole Bears just catastrophe.
It's sad, ain't it? It's sad. It's very sad.
It's sad.
I feel bad for them, low key.
I do feel bad for them. I feel like